G'day. We're just in the back room of my house where normally I keep all these very large model ships for most of the year. But as John will pan around this room, it looks a bit empty at the moment. Because of where I live here in Victoria, in Bendigo, there is a bushfire scenario being the high summer period here. So what I do is I remove all 4 very large models and put them into the large white trailer, which you would have seen in a previous recording in the last week. The smaller models I have also are in secure storage elsewhere, because I'm dashed if I'm going to have it lost with the bushfires. But what you see is bits and pieces of models that I built over the years. If John follows through across the top shelf, many of those plastic kits that I made years and years and years ago of famous passenger liners, the 4 yellow funnels, I'm sure everyone can work out what that one is. And then the very big model up the top there is the current Queen Mary 2 that I've been using that as a model, test bed model of detailing. You've got to have a plastic model of the ship you want to build to make sure you're getting the right detailing involved and the specs correct, meaning you've got the right layout, lifeboats are positioned correctly, and etc. Then across the top here is a series of aircraft carriers. The one on the far right is the former French aircraft carrier Clemenceau. Then this one was the World War II HMS Ark Royal. Then this one here was the small plastic one I'm talking about, is the HMS Victorious in the 1950s when she was converted to an angle-decked aircraft carrier, and the first angle-deck aircraft carrier built in the world by the British. The one above is the same ship, but in her Second World War camouflage. This particular aircraft carrier on the top there was my very first scratch-built model I ever made. It represents the carrier that my father served on during the Second World War. My father was a fighter pilot flying the Corsair's F4U series under the British Royal Naval Fleet Air Arm Service. And these Corsairs were on lease from the United States during the Second World War. As an example, if we come over here to give you some ideas of the historical meaning of it, the Corsair F4U, this is what my father built when he was learning to fly, to learn the recognition of the shape of a plane, so you don't shoot down friendly fire, so to speak. Then with that, we also have my father's aviation epaulets from his coats, the huge naval overcoat. Unfortunately, I've got all his naval hats and I've still got his officer's uniform, which he was a lieutenant. But again, they've been put away in storage because they're valuable items. What else can I show? The brass buttons, I don't know whether you can zoom in on that white frame picture. They came from what is called the Great Naval Overcoat, which usually goes down to the knees, and my father had to get one of those coats as he was told he was about to join the North Sea convoy, and this was a hell of a convoy during the Second World War. And after getting the coat, and in those days the officers had to pay for their uniforms, which was pretty expensive, and then he was told, no, you don't need the coat anymore, you're being transferred out to the Pacific. To join the 3 Pacific fleets, to working with the 27 Pacific US fleets on the homelands of Japan at that time. And finally, if you do a 180 degrees, John, turn right around, look up to a picture with a set of wings up there. That is real gold thread. That's my father's wings from his day in flying in the Fleet Air Arm during the Second World War.